Did you know that appointing an active board may give your startup a competitive advantage over other businesses in your field or industry? Hi, my name is Jimmy Waladiechi, and you're welcome to Corporate Governance Africa, where we seek to promote good governance through film. In this video, we discuss why it's important to appoint an active board as you begin your startup or as you conduct your family business. We refer to the example of Leading Boards Africa, which is a startup that began in 2020 and by the third year of business had broken even. The founder attributes this to appointing an active board from the very start of the business. Leading Boards Africa is a corporate governance consultancy business that is focused on providing corporate governance consultancy or solutions to organizations in order to help them to succeed. The business's headquarters are in Kampala in Uganda, which is located in East Africa. Francesca Kakooza is the founder of the organization, and she shares how she came up with the business idea.
So for me to come up with the idea of leading boards, it came from all those various vantage points. Being in a boardroom, being a company secretary, seeing where the gaps are and saying, you know what, we need to set up something where we can actually advise boards from a consultancy perspective, evaluate boards and bring that richness to their evaluations, because we've been in the boardroom and we've been board members as well. So that's what birthed Leading Boards.
She wanted the business to succeed, and so she decided to be different and seek to put in place an active board at the very beginning of the business.
Now, when we set up when I came up with the idea, we incorporated the company, and of course a key requirement of incorporation is having a board. And most organizations, as long as you're incorporated with URSB, you have a board, or at least you have people you represented there as directors. So if you're an incorporated company, you have a board. It's just that not many people use them. Now for us at Leading Boards, we wanted to be different. We said, you know what, we cannot preach what we don't practice. So we needed to have a board that is actually active.
She mentions an active board, but what is an active board?
From the very beginning, we set out to look for board members that would add value to the organization and that were also aligned to our strategic direction. So we went out to look for particular skills and said, we need this person, we need this person, we need this kind, not person, we need this kind of skill on the board, we need this kind of skill, we need that kind of skill. And then we went out now to look for the board members that we actually needed on our board.
From what Francesca is saying, an active board is a board whose members consistently and diligently utilize their skills to supervise the management of a business and to help the business to be profitable. In other words, active boards add value to your business.
In that boardroom, we have different skills. We have finance persons, we have business persons, we have marketers, we have lawyers in that boardroom. And each of them, when we go to them on a quarterly basis, they are adding value to the different aspects of the business.
Francesca says that the active board helped her in specific areas of the business in the early stages. This is what she says about how the board helped her in refining the strategy of the business.
For example, our strategy and finance committee was very candid in the kinds of objectives we had set. One of the objectives we had set, in our humble way of setting objectives, we had said we want to achieve this kind of market share by the end of the strategy. So they asked us, okay, how are you going to be able to measure that market share? And we are saying by the number of clients that we have, etc. But they told us, no, to measure market share, you must be able to understand, have the industry numbers first of all, and then see how you're doing against those numbers or that data. Now, in Uganda, we are just cultivating the discipline of collecting data and having data, to guide decision making. So we don't have that kind of data in the governance space or the leadership space or consultancy space. So they told us, how are you going to measure yourselves on that market share? So then one of the board members says, maybe consider getting proxy indicators for market share. So it might not be exactly what market share is all about, but look at brand visibility, look at social media numbers, look at these kinds of things So as a team, the management team then now, I was still consulting for leading boards then, and I was still CEO then. So we were able then to go back and reinvent our indicators, okay? So that was very helpful, and it has helped us grow.
The board also helped her to achieve good financial management.
The finance director was very critical. At that point, they said, you people, none of you is a finance person. Get a finance expert to advise on your finances and how you're going to run those finances. So then we went out and got a finance expert to advise us. When he came into the boardroom to advise, the board member said, no, this person is not very good with financial management. Yes, they're an accountant, but they are not very well engaged in terms of recent financial trends, IFRS, and the reporting requirements, etc. We need you to report in line with international financial reporting standards. We need that. We are an organization, we are professionals, we need you to do that. So they told us, no, get rid of that person, get another person. We got another firm that is now advising us and is getting us to that point of now proper budgeting. Before, where me as a lawyer would draw up a budget for the company that is not financially based, etc., the assumptions. Now we have a proper accountant that is actually advising us. He's a consultant as well, but advising us, doing our budgets. We present them to the board. Now they have few things to point out, and then doing also our management accounts, on a quarterly, so that our board now has information.
The good financial management, which was cultivated under the oversight of the board, enabled the business to break even.
We were able to break even, and of course, let me call it, the startup cost wasn't too high as well. So it didn't take so much to break even, although we broke even in our second year, not in the first year, because the first year was all about arranging, putting place systems in place, and also now getting ourselves out there to our clients for them to know who we are and what we are doing. So that was the first year. Second year, we struggled a bit as well, but in the midst of the second year, we then picked up and brought in enough to break even. I credit the board. And of course, the management team has worked hard, true, but the different financial discipline that the board brought on board was very helpful in knowing even when we broke even. Because if we didn't have proper accounting systems and finance, we would not have known.
Marketing is a very important area in generating funds or finances or profits for the business. The board made their input in this area as well.
So we have a marketer on the board. He's helping us with our marketing strategy, drawing up the different objectives in the marketing strategy. How do you improve it? What do you do?
Related to marketing is the importance of a good network, which the board brought to the table for the benefit of the company.
Our board members have networks, and they are board members on other boards. So they're able to recommend us to those other boards, bring in clients.
The board also provided an accountability center for Francesca. And this accountability helped her to build resilience and to press on even in the face of difficulties or challenges in the business.
But also for me as a founder, there are times when I almost gave up and said, but now, why are we struggling like this? I can get a job actually and work instead of struggling with the consultancy, trying to put this into. But because there are people you're accounting to, you have a board of peers that you're accounting to, you can't afford to even lay the tools down. So you keep innovating and coming up with different elements on how to improve the business. So yes, I went back corporate, and now I'm just consulting for leading boards. I left the management, the CEO, etc. There's someone else who's running that. But that person now, we made sure we got the right person to run the organization and ensure that the business is running effectively, and we are able to report to the board.
Interestingly, Francesca did not have to pay any money to the board members. It was a voluntary board of directors. It's possible to find members of your board who are skilled and who are willing to work voluntarily.
The board of leading boards is voluntary for now, and we made it clear to them it is voluntary for now. The moment the company begins to now get in the big numbers, we want to remunerate our board so that we motivate them to even add more value to the organization. But even with that, much as we don't pay them allowances, etc., we reimburse in another way. For example, Christmas season comes around, Easter comes around, we give them hampers. We make sure we do something for them that motivates them to be part of our board, but also we don't disappoint them. You know, management doesn't disappoint the board, because now I sit as an executive director on the board. So I make sure that I tell them, you know, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and motivate the board.
In conclusion, an active board helps your business to succeed, especially when the boards apply their skills to specific areas of the business. The founder of a business or any undertaking has the choice of appointing an active board or a passive board. With a passive board, yes, they will fulfill the statutory requirements of appointing a board, but they will miss the value that an active board brings to a business. This active board will give you a momentum to push forward and to succeed in the long term. We will let Francesca have a final word on this.
So, Jimmy, I think I'm one of those people that will tell you boards add value. They actually add value, and for any entrepreneur, any SME that doesn't have a board, you're shooting yourself in the foot actually.